So good day again, lovely people. Good to see you all. Today we're going to do another relax yoga video. It's Tuesday afternoon, so let's go for it. Make sure you have something you can sit on, something you can, relax on a little bit. So a soft surface is always a good idea. If you have that, it's basically the most comfortable for your body. So you could use a yoga mat, of course. If you don't have that, use a rug or maybe a towel if you have another thing to put it on, because it can be too tough. So careful for the knees, for the joints. And let's get started. Today we're going to start laying on our back, okay? So take your time. You can relax your hands on either side of your body. You can put your hands on your stomach, on your belly if you like. And you can place your feet about mat wide, so that your knees fall inwards. They can rest on each other basically. And you can completely relax the belly. Okay, so when you breathe, you can feel the entire body kind of breathing with you, basically. Slowly in and out. You can close your eyes if you want to. Just make sure that you're comfortable. If you want to stretch out your legs, of course that's fine too. And try to see if you can pay attention to the rhythm of your breath. If you can feel the rhythm, feel the movements in the belly. Of course, if you have your hands on your belly, it might be a little bit easier for you to feel how your body moves. But either way, if you have your hands alongside your body on the ground, you can still feel that movement. And try to concentrate on that. So try to concentrate on what the rhythm of the breath does in your lungs, your belly. And try not to change it too much. I know it can be difficult. Sometimes when you start paying attention to how you're breathing, it changes all of a sudden. It's hard to not change it basically. And it's okay. Don't worry about it. If you feel that you're going to change it, no worries, no worries. Just keep that awareness with the breath. And if you want, you can try to lengthen the exhalation a little bit. If you feel you have a very long inhalation and quite a short or shorter exhalation, try to lengthen. When you breathe out through the nose, carefully, controlled, soft. Don't push it, just try. When you breathe in, relax the belly so that the breath can go down. When you breathe out, take your time. So you give your body a message with that. You give your body the message that it can relax, that you're just going to focus now, that you're going to focus on what you're doing, your body, your breath, your mind, without any pressure. Okay, yoga is never about pressure, and especially when we're doing a relax yoga, it's all about that feeling of focused and controlled relaxation and being aware of that. So you can teach your body that in other moments when you need it. Slow and soft breathing. From here you might want to bring your knees towards your chest and just hold them. You don't have to, you can keep the knees and the feet where they are if you want. But maybe you can pull them towards your chest. You can keep it light, like you can keep them distant or you can pull them closer towards you, whatever you feel is comfortable for you. And it influences the breathing. You might feel it if you pull them really close, that it changes the space you have in your belly. So it might change your breathing, and that's okay. Try to be aware of what happens, how it feels. You can interlace your fingers if you want. Sometimes you can relax more easy that way. Otherwise, you use some strength, that's fine. Try to relax your feet, your legs. And from here you can make circles. So usually we end with this pose. And then after the class we end with just massaging the lower back on the ground. And today we start with it. Let's give that lower back some love before we start. And try to feel the difference between how big you make the circles. So you can make them very small, very soft, so you can make them a little bit bigger. Try to make it both ways. Circle one way, circle the other way. And try to bring your attention towards the lower back, to feel how it is, to feel it rolling over your floor, your mat. Very good. And then you can keep them up. You can keep the legs up a little bit. You can bring the chin in towards your chest. So you kind of use a little bit of the belly muscles, not too much. You don't have to bring the whole body up. If you want to, you can just lift the head. Try to bring the chin towards your chest so you don't tense your neck too much. And just hold it right there. You can hold your legs if you want to. It can be a little bit easier. Or you can just stretch out your hands horizontally, your arms. Keep it there. Try to keep it there a little bit longer. Don't use too much strength, just a little bit. As much as you like. And when you breathe out, slowly come back down. If you want to hold your knees, you can. Otherwise, you can just let your arms rest on the floor. Take your time. And you can open the knees a little bit. And between your legs, you can hold your feet. And you can hold the outside or the inside, whatever you feel comfortable with. This pose is called the happy baby or happy Buddha. You can kind of see why. If it's too much to hold both, because it can be a very deep stretch for the hips. I got some itch on my nose, I'm sorry guys. If it's too much to hold them both, you can just hold one. So you bring one of your legs towards the floor, and you just hold one leg up. You bring the knee inwards towards the elbow. Sorry, towards the elbow. The armpit. You bring one knee towards the armpit and you kind of pull a little bit. You let the weight of your hand, the weight of your arm, bring your leg down. Try to bring the feet up, so don't hold the feet too much low. Just bring it upwards. So the arm is facing the ceiling, stretched out. The knee goes down this way. Try to keep the breathing soft. And if you're doing half, you're going to switch. So you bring the other leg up. Get a foot towards the floor. One leg up. Hold it. Try to push it a little bit downwards. And you can always stop. Right? If we're holding it on too long, we can just let it go a little bit earlier, it's no problem. It's always about what fits you right now, so how do you feel you have the most benefit from a pose. And sometimes it's exactly the same as I do, and sometimes you might feel I want something different. Just go for that, okay? Just make it your own. Make sure you can relax your shoulders, your head. If you feel you're pulling too much, put a pillow under the head, pillow under the shoulders. Just to make sure that it's comfortable. Relaxio is all about making it a little bit more comfortable and try to feel the difference between tension and relaxation, teaching the body how to let go. Okay. And then you can let go of your feet, put them both on the ground, and if you want to, you can wiggle the knees a little bit from side to side. Okay, so just to loosen up the lower back or the hips if you feel you have some tension there because of the pose, because that's very well possible. And then we're going to come up any way you like. You can just roll yourself back and forth, come up, or you can roll onto your side and slowly bring yourself towards a seated position. And from here you can just come to either cross-legged position, or if you can sit in lotus pose, it's fine too, just make sure it doesn't hurt the knees. You can close your eyes for a second. Always give the body a little bit of time to adjust from lying down to sitting up, and from sitting up to standing if you go to standing. Because it's different, you know, your body needs to adjust sometimes. So just gonna take a few breaths, sitting here, relaxing. And then we're gonna go to a half butterfly. So you can bring the left foot out towards the side as much as you like. You can bring it more forward or more backwards, both fine. And make sure you can sit up straight, okay? So if you feel you're kind of hanging towards one side, take something to lift the hips. A book or a block or a cushion if you have it. Folded blanket works really well. Just make sure that the spine is straight, okay? So you start sitting up straight. Your foot is active, the leg is active, which means that it doesn't fall forward or backwards, but you don't tense it up. Because if you push or pull your toes towards you, you're tensing. And if you just keep it straight, you use some strength, and that's okay. Try to bring the outside of the left hand on the inside of the left leg, and try to keep the body straight. So don't lean towards the left, just sit up straight. Okay, with the right hand, you can come all the way up. And when you breathe out, if you want to, you can go towards the left. You don't have to, you can keep sitting up straight, depending on how much tension you want in your leg. If it's too much, bend the knee. Okay, so you do it like this. Doesn't matter. Any way is fine, as long as you feel you do something maybe a little bit out of your comfort zone, because that's how your body learns. And you will notice that some days you can go a little bit further, some days you like to stay inside the comfort zone a little bit. It's both okay. There's no right or wrong here, okay? There's no right or wrong in what you do and how you do it. We're just practicing. Basically, we're just playing here. Make sure you keep breathing. In and out, towards the belly, so try to keep some space in your belly to breathe and use all the muscles. And as long as your breathing stays calm, it's okay, then your body stays calm. When you breathe in, slowly come back up. And when you breathe out, relax the arms. We're going to go the other way. One leg in, one leg out, so the right leg is out, left leg is in. Again, make it active, not too much strength. And we're going to come up. The right hand is on the right leg, on the inside of the right leg. The left hand is up. And you can stay like this. Try to feel how much space you have to move. If it's a little bit, if it's a little bit more. Try to keep the sternum up so you don't fall forward. You try to move only sideways. So you feel the stretch in the left side of the body, in the right leg maybe. And again, try to bend the leg a little bit if it's too much. It's never a good idea to push those limits too much, because then you will feel maybe pain or a lot of tiredness in the body afterwards. And if you feel very, very tired after a yoga session, it might be that a lot of tensions come free and that you just need to sleep. But if you have it all the time, you might push your body too much. So try to find that line, the room where you can move, where it's okay, where you challenge yourself every now and then, but you don't push too much. And it's a practice. Keep on breathing, a few more breaths here. And when you breathe in, slowly come up. And when you breathe out, relax. Very good. You can bring both feet towards each other. And you can bring them a little bit away from the body. So you kind of have a square with your legs right here. And then you can move forward. And you can just keep the back straight if you want to. But you can also just relax the head, make it a very completely relaxed pose. And if you want to, You can massage the inside of your feet. So with your thumbs, you can kind of squeeze your feet a little bit, massage the inside, the soles of your feet, maybe your toes. Try to keep the head relaxed, the shoulders relaxed. And just make that little massaging movement if you want to. If you don't want to, just relax the hands. Try to keep the breathing soft and deep, so that you can basically sink a little bit more into the pose. Feeling how the back, the neck and the head can let go. Come forward a little bit more. If you want to keep it long and active, make sure you bring the sternum up. Keep the neck in line with the spine. So you bring your chin in a little bit. If you keep looking forward, you compress the neck. And try to keep it long. Try to keep it long. That way you can relax it even when you're active. One more breath here. And then push yourself back up. So use your hands to push yourself up slightly. Very good. And from here we're going to square pose. So you can leave the left leg on the floor. Bring it in maybe a little bit. And then you bring the right foot onto the left knee. And make sure the right knee is above the left foot. So both feet and knees are in one line in front of you. And you'll notice that maybe you're here where I am, maybe you're even deeper, maybe it's a very easy pose for you, and maybe you're somewhere here. It's all good. There's no right or wrong, it really depends on how your pelvis and your hips are positioned. So it's a bone structure thing. And it doesn't matter. If you're here, you can sit up straight, it's fine. Maybe you want to place your hands behind you so you can lean on it a little bit. But the more you go forward in this pose, the more stretch or compression you feel. And it's okay. Just make sure it doesn't hurt, okay? That's always the case. Keep breathing. And if you want to lean forward, so if you feel like you have a lot of space here, you can place your hands in front of you and you can even completely lean forward. Make sure your hips don't leave the ground, okay? So both sitting bones are still touching the ground and you can just lean forward to make that pose very deep. You make a very deep stretch that way. But again, only if you feel the stretching, you stay in what we call the orange zone. So we have green, orange and red, and as you can imagine, red is the zone where it's painful, where you go over that line, and green is the place where the pose becomes too easy, where you don't feel anything, where you could fall asleep. And in the orange zone, you do feel something. I feel a stretch, for example, and I feel that my body is working in this pose, but it doesn't hurt. It's completely fine, I can keep breathing, I can keep talking. My thoughts are not a struggle, they're just calm, peaceful. And that's the place where you want your body and your mind and your breath to connect, basically. So take a moment, go inside with your attention, and try to feel. Where are you on that continuum? From orange to red, from orange to green. And don't try to label it right or wrong, because that's not the case. It's just where you have the most benefit, the most gain, basically. Slowly bring yourself back up. So roll yourself up if you're forward. And it's easy to bring your hands a little bit backwards so you have some room to place your feet on the ground, both of them, and change position. Okay, so the left one goes up, right one stays on the floor, left foot on top of the right knee, left knee on top of the right foot. So bring the lower foot forward if you have it all the way in. That way the pose becomes harder. You might feel that you go backwards more, but that's okay. There is a function to it. Because that way you kind of twist both of the hips outwards. So you work it basically in the hips, which is what we want, and both sides can differ, okay? So see if this is okay, see where you are, if you can sit up, if you want to lean backwards, lean forwards. Pay some attention to your breath, to your thoughts. What I mean with no struggle is that your thoughts are peaceful, that it's not like, oh my god, please tell me I can come out, please tell me we're done here. Then you are struggling, okay? You don't want to struggle. It's okay if you feel like, oh, I'm not sure where I am right now, maybe I'm touching the red, okay, and then you just go back a little bit. You make it a little bit more easy. And that's okay, as long as there's no struggle in the mind, no struggle in the breath, in the body. So that feeling of being uncomfortable, that's okay, because that's where your body learns. And you can teach it by breathing normally. By basically saying, well, you know, it might be uncomfortable, but I can breathe. There's no danger here. And you'll notice that that will happen in other parts of your life as well. If you can teach that towards yourself, then your body will pick that up. Your mind will pick that up in other situations that has nothing to do with yoga, nothing to do with any physical exercises, but it will change things. And we can learn that here on the mat. That's the beauty, for me, that's the beauty of yoga. It's like a mirror. It's a mirror of the rest of your life. And it has an influence on what you do. Okay. Slowly come back up, take your time. And if you want to stretch out the legs, just do so. Okay, bring your hands behind you. Just gonna sit like this. And just take some time, relax. Both of your legs, your hips, your feet, just wiggle them if you want to. Deep, comfortable breaths. And when you're ready, you can come to all fours. Take your time, just gonna stand like this. You can stand on your hands or on your fists if you have some wrist problems. Try to bring the knees under the hips and the hands under the shoulders, okay? So you stand very firm. You have a lot of stability, a lot of balance here. We're going to start with the left leg. So we're going to bring the left knee towards the chest. If you want your nose towards your knee, you can do so. So you make a very round back. And then when you breathe in, stretch your leg outwards, all the way back. Try to keep the back long, so don't hang in it, so you don't make a round back, or so hollow back, sorry. But keep it active and long. Breathe out, bring the knee in. Breathe in, bring the leg backwards. Stretch it out. Try to find your own rhythm. Use your breath. Breathe in, stretch it backwards. Breathe out, bring the knee all the way in as far as you like. Try to make that movement and be aware of the lower back. So you don't have to bring the leg horizontally. If you want to, just bring it a little bit lower. Then it's easier on the lower back. One more time. Inwards, outward, and then let it go. Then go the other leg. Right leg, bring it outwards when you breathe in, so stretch it out. Bring the knee in when you breathe out. And use your own rhythm. Try to activate your belly muscles a little bit, especially when you breathe in, that you don't hang in the lower back. One more time, stretch it out, all the way in, and let it go back onto the floor. And then you can bring the left knee on the outside of the left hand. So your knee kind of leaves the midline of your body, it comes outwards. And you can bring the left foot a little bit forward. With the right leg, with the right knee and foot, you can walk yourself back as far as you like. And if you want to, you can place a pillow or a block under the left hip. So if you feel there's too much pressure on the knee or too much pressure on the ankle, release that pressure with a block or a cushion underneath, okay? The other leg is stretched out. And you can come onto your elbows. So we call this a pigeon pose. In Hatha Yoga it's called pigeon pose, and in Yin Yoga it's called a swan. So it's a little bit confusing, but it's meant as an active pose or a relaxing pose. And we are basically doing a little bit of both. So I don't know what kind of bird that will be, but let's call it a pigeon. If you have a lot more space in this pose, if you have more room to stretch, you can bring your arms out in front of you and release the head onto the floor. So you're leaning over your left leg completely. And still everything is about the breathing, okay? So keep the breathing soft, natural. In and out. And if you want to, you can come up onto your hands. So that way it's also compressing the lower back a little bit. This is a pigeon pose because it's active, so it's definitely from Hatha more than Yin Yoga. Make sure you don't hurt in the lower back, so you can go up as far as you like. Otherwise, just keep your hands further away from the body. That way you don't have to go all the way up. See if you can relax the hips, okay? So if you're in this pose, try not to bring too much tension on the lower back or on the hips, on the legs. Try to find some way of comfortability in this pose. See what you need to change in order to do so. Make sure your breathing is okay, your thoughts are okay. And then we're going to come back to all fours. So place your hands firmly on the ground, curl the right toes under and walk your right leg back towards the left one so you get some space. That way you can release the left leg. And if you want to stretch it out in front of you, you can do so. Stretch it out backwards, I'm sorry. Stretch it out in front of you. Well, we can do that, why not? You can bring the left leg forward between the hands. Stretch it out this way. If you want to bring the hips backwards a little bit, you can feel the stretch on the entire left leg, just as far as you like. Bring it backwards, all the way back to all fours. And we're going to do the same thing on the right side. So bring the right knee outwards, outside of the right hand. Your right foot, bring it forward a little bit. And walk your left leg back. And again, this pose can be very different on the right side or on the left side. See what you need. Place something under the right hip if you feel too much pressure on the knee or on the ankle, on the foot. And try to come towards the ground on your elbows again. This way you can rest. This way the pose is, for most people, a little bit more relaxed. Just keep breathing. And if this is a very difficult pose, or if you feel something that I'm not mentioning, or you don't know how to change the pose, just leave a comment and ask your questions. Okay, so I can answer you, so you can do the pose, because every pose in yoga is possible for everyone, just in different varieties. There's always another way to go with your body. There's never just one way, not one size fits all. And it's important to find your way. It's important to find what works for you, what feels good, where you can practice, what is your space to practice this pose. And then we're going to come up. So take your time just rolling yourself back up as far as you like again. Pay attention to the lower back. Try to keep the back leg in line with the body, so not too much outwards or inwards. Try to keep it in line with the mat basically. Relax the lower back, relax the hips and the legs. Of course they're a little bit active, but not too much. Not too much tension. Try to relax the shoulders, so keep them low, keep them away from the ears. And just keep breathing. There's always so much things to remember when you're in a pose. And in the beginning it can seem overwhelming. It can be overwhelming to realize what you have to think about when you're in asana, when you're doing yoga physically. See what you can think of. You know, you always forget something, I always forget something, and it's okay. Little by little you will be more comfortable with what you do. Your body will remember things, it will make it easier on you. All you have to do is give it some space, give it some time, some love, don't push it. And you build up muscle memory. You want to build up a nice memory, right? You want to build up a fun memory, not a painful one. So try to keep it fun. Try to keep it light for the body. Then come back to all fours. So place your hands on the mat. Curl the left toes under. Walk the leg back towards the front. And so the right leg has some space. And we're going to stretch it out backwards first. And when you're done, you can bring the right foot between the hands, bring the weight a little bit backwards, so your hips go back a little bit, so you can stretch the right leg as far as you want. And again, we're going to come to all fours. The right foot goes back and we're going to go into child's pose. So you can bring the hips towards your heels. You can let your hands rest in front of you. Your head can relax on the floor. You can bring the hands backwards. Or let your head rest on your hands. Whatever child's pose suits you. If you want, you can also open the knees. So you bring the knees towards the sides of your mat. That way your belly has a little bit more room to breathe, to move. Try to go back. Try to bring your attention back to the breath, to the length of your inhalation, your exhalation. Maybe you feel your heartbeat. From this child's pose, we're going to go into Shavasana. So take your time to find your way towards lying on the back. Stretch out the feet if you want to. Again, you can also keep your knees towards each other, both feet on the ground, of course. Shavasana has no rules. Just to make sure that you are comfortable here. So in Shavasana, you're really in this green area because your body doesn't need to work. You don't have to hold anything, no balance, no strength. It should be very, very comfortable. And if your lower back is a little bit painful, can be too much pressure to stretch out the legs while laying on a little bit of hard surface. Put something under the knees, 2 blocks or a cushion. If you bring the knees up a little bit, the lower back will relax easier. It's more comfortable. And again, try to find your rhythm. Slow inhalation. Slow exhalation. Complete rest Softness in the body, softness in the breath. See if you can find some softness in the mind, in the thoughts. Just a few more breaths here. Try to relax every piece of your body. And from here, we're going to come up slowly. Take some time. Maybe you want to wiggle your toes. Move your hands or your head. And maybe you want to stretch yourself out. Just make small movements. Wake yourself up again if you felt like you were dozing off already. It's okay. Deep breaths. And roll to your right side, okay? If you want to come up any other way, it's fine. Usually the right side is the most comfortable for the body to come up. Take 1 or 2 moments here and then push yourself back up so you can sit up straight again. You can relax your hands on your legs, on your knees. Breathe. Just in and out. Always at the end, try to take a little moment of reflection. It's not a moment of judgment on how well did you do, how well did it go. That's not important. Just try to take a moment of reflecting how you feel. What do you feel in your body? What thoughts come up? And if the thoughts that come up are judging or labeling things good or bad, then try to look at them neutrally. Just observe the thoughts. It's okay, whatever thoughts come up, whatever feelings, emotions, mind come up, just let them be there. You don't have to act on it. You can just let them pass, basically. And you can slowly bring your hands in front of your heart. You can thank yourself. Thank yourself for taking time, paying attention, doing some self-care, some self-love towards your body, towards your mind, and towards your soul. Namaste. Thank you guys so much again for joining me today. I had a really good time. I hope you had it too. If you have any questions or you want to share something with me, please just leave it in the comments. I will always answer that. And you can always like this video if you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time. Bye guys!